Last time on Phoenix Wright, we actually made a pretty good theory in courts. We now believe that it was Jack Hammer that disguised himself as the Steel Samurai. Knowing about Will Powers' leg injury, he was able to slip by the security lady. That being said, apparently he couldn't evade whatever killed him. We still don't know who did it. The previous testimony was kind of vague, and to that point, we also don't know what did him in. It probably wasn't a samurai chop. I mean, it could have been, but there was a stab wound, so there was definitely a stabbing. Right here, we're actually getting a bit of backstory. All cases have to be tied up in just a few days. So technically, we're going to move on to day 4 tomorrow, but that'll be the 3rd day of courts, and the last one we're allowed, so no matter what, it has to end tomorrow. Now, this is kind of an annoying little thing in the first 2 Phoenix Wright games, and the reason that most people hate Case 3 in both games, and I mean, I don't know if people hate this one, but I know they're not fond of it, and I do like the case, but at the same time, it can drag on a bit. And that is the thing about both games, is the fact that Case 3 is kind of the chapter that introduces the fact that we only have 3 court dates that we can get through, and then it has to end there. Because, of course, the first case is just 1 court session. Simple as that. Second one has 2 days. Well, technically 3, but 2 investigations, 2 court cases. And Case 3 isn't really relevant to the main plots. That being said, though, we do have to make it one of the longest chapters, so that the next chapter, which, you know, is actually interesting and relevant to the overall plot of the game, the player's already introduced to the fact that it can go on that many days. That being said, though, thankfully, 3 and onwards kinda just drop that thing. They're like, oh yeah, actually the investigation scenes are kind of like the most boring ones, so yeah, we're just gonna focus mainly on the court cases, which, quite frankly, I'm definitely fine with. I mean, again, I don't hate this case, but the fact that later cases don't drag on longer than they really should really helps. This is also the first time in a little while we're talking to Will out of court. I mean, we talked to him in the lobby, but we didn't actually visit him in the detention center the other day. Well, I mean, you've talked to her, Phoenix. She's very, well, we'll say imposing. Essentially, don't fuck with her. I mean, I guess she had good ideas, but also intimidation. Do we really want to talk about Manila? I mean, I don't want to, but let's hear it. That doesn't surprise me. That does, however. I am kind of surprised as well that Vasquez actually came to him with the Steel Samurai idea. I mean, in the Phoenix Wright series, like, they're basically superheroes, samurai shows. Like, every single frickin' TV show is some kind of samurai, as we'll see in later games. It's just samurai this and samurai that. But yeah, I didn't really think she was the creative type. But apparently she is. Though that being said, now I'm even more confused as to why Manila's here. I mean, he's probably not a good writer. It didn't really seem like the show was well written, so don't know what he's adding to it. Well, it would be nice to know about that thing that happened 5 years ago, but apparently no one wants to tell me. Alright, well, take care of your chest hair. See you later. Do you want to tell me about what happened 5 years ago? 'Cause Penny won't, and Will won't, and I'm pretty damn sure De Vasquez won't. Huh, that's a lot of restraints. That's pretty much my philosophy. Alright, well, apparently she's not very talkative, but we can't be on a terrible side with her. We did let her go to Studio One. Then maybe she doesn't completely hate her guts anymore. We can hope. It's really weird to see her like this. I'm kinda creeped out. You weren't replaced by an alien or anything, right? Yeah. Oh, Maya. You have a lot to learn. Maybe when you're older. Maybe when you're older. Well, I mean, in fairness, we didn't call him a criminal. He's still dead. Okay, so apparently it wasn't really admiration or anything like that. It was silent fury, which isn't the norm for Old Bag, but nope, not getting any information out of her, so see you later. No, really? One of the stars dies and we're gonna film anyway. We don't actually have anybody to be the evil magistrate, but we'll just pretend he's invisible this episode and somebody will dub over his voice. Oh, hey Gumshoe. So, Gumshoe, haven't really talked to him recently either. I mean, there was that brief conversation at the end of the other investigation where he kind of just barged in and took Cody Hackins in so he could be brought in for court this morning, but I'm not bitter about that or anything. I mean, really, I can't be bitter. It helped us in the end. Alright, well, tell me about the sleeping pills. Come on. Something to our advantage, maybe? And that's all the information I need. Alright, well, that means the sleeping pills were definitely used. Can't see a disadvantage to that. That pretty much proves that Jack Hammer used the sleeping pills, or somebody did. I mean, if it were anyone else, it would be a huge coincidence that they would want Will Powers to be asleep, but it's pretty obvious at this point. Yeah, Edgeworth kinda has to stick to it no matter what. Oh my god, the sheer anger! Oh yeah, and it burns, that's gotta suck. Watch out, world! Edgeworth will crush a paper cup! You better not fuck with him. Well, that's 2 bits of good news. Alright. For once, Gumshoe actually brings good news with him. More or less, yeah. Alright, well, don't think we have much else to talk to you about, so guess we'll go to the dressing room. Just sweep through the old buildings, see who we can find and talk to before moving on. Oh, yeah, well, that makes sense. Murders generally aren't very good for business, and they kind of end TV shows. I mean, to be fair, at least he'll have a career in acting afterwards, probably. I mean, it's a cheesy kids show, but there are plenty of places he could go. Even if this project's, well, kind of dead, for lack of a better term. Come on, tell us. Nobody else will. This stuff is kind of important. Like, really important. That's very vague. I want to ask about the 5 years ago thing, but last episode first, I guess. You see, it's fitting because Jack Hammer was in the Steel Samurai outfit and was killed in it, so it's kind of symbolic, even though it wasn't Will Powers wearing it. Come on, you're just trying to keep me from this 5 years ago thing, aren't you? You're doing this on purpose, giving yourself more dialogue options, which, technically speaking, is me asking you a thing, but I'm onto your game. I mean, in fairness, businesses really don't care. Well, thankfully I don't have the cards to show her because that probably wouldn't be good for me. Could end up with me with a knife in my back, but this is a much better example. I mean, A-Kid loves the Steel Samurai, but you know what? He's a pretty big fan. He breaks into the studio all the time. That's dedication. Well, it's still fairly simple, but that is quite a bit more specific. Hammer accidentally killed a man, and, well, they tried so very desperately to keep it from going public. Yeah, murder, again, not very good for pretty much anyone or anything. Would she really want to talk about Hammer being a murderer, though? Accident or not, she really likes the guy, so... Well, fingers crossed that this goes well. But she's pretty much the only person we can ask at this point. Well, you said no to me taking the donuts, so, sadly, I'm gonna have to deny that deal. Well, no, it's probably more due to DeVasquez and the other generic business people who exist. I've been told they exist. We just haven't seen them, nor will we ever. Ooh. I mean, how do you even know what we're talking about? Oh, no, not at all. Don't say her name out loud. Oh boy. Yeah, from nobody in particular. Please don't rant at anybody. Yeah, this is going about as well as I thought it would have, and it's not fun, I can say that. Anytime you're looking down the barrel of a very angry old lady, can't call it fun. Well, we do have proof, thanks to Gumshoe. And, of course, it's the sleeping pills.
Take that!
And, of course, next proof is the plate.
Take that!
And someone from the paparazzi was just standing there the entire time. They kind of just ignored him after a while because he was always there just crouching and waiting. They didn't think anything bad would happen, so kind of just let him stay there. But of course, that's the one day someone just had to die. Oh, and it all went wrong at that point. Of course, now we know why that little fence was bent the way it was. Phoenix never really made that much of a big deal about it, but yeah, it bent over like that because somebody died on it. I don't know, it's seeming more and more like he went here by himself, but we still can't quite make that conclusion. Hey, Vasquez, how's it going? Heard you, covered stuff up? Yep, that's her, right there. Standing. Just smoking and doing nothing else. Yeah, you'd think by this point we'd have realized she really doesn't care. Like, at all. Just watching the clouds. Because it's a hell of a lot more interesting than we are. That being said, let's press her for information. I don't know what to do. She's just wrecking us completely by ignoring us. God, it's like April, May. We cannot get owned any harder than when we're ignored. You can insult us all you want, but we can use that for evidence, but when you're just like, I don't even give a fuck about you? Oh man, I don't know what to do at that point. Is he interesting at all? Yeah, to be fair, that's kind of my reaction. Don't speak about him with an earshot. Oh well, she's not going to talk to us about anything, so I guess we just have to leave at this point. Wait, Phoenix, what are you doing? Phoenix, no, Phoenix, what are you doing? No! Phoenix, you idiots! Oh, we just heard that this lady has mob connections. By the way, here, remember this murder you covered up? Yeah, we have a picture of it. Here's clear and obvious proof that you were up to some shit at some point. Why'd you do that? Huh? I hear you killed a man over it. You want to comment about that? No, I only hear bird chirps. Yeah, actually, suddenly I realized that's not really a good thing. Alright, well, I guess we should leave now. Because nothing good can come from going into the trailer, Phoenix. Phoenix, you better go back to... No, Phoenix, what are you doing? Wow, you're stupid. Gee, I don't know. Maybe it's just because we brought decisive evidence right to her. Phoenix, you've made this mistake before. Remember the guy who punched you really hard? It's probably still bruised, even though it's been half a year. Yeah, now that we have proof of that, well, certainly you can't do anything to us and get this picture back. Yeah, there's no way. We are completely safe from any and all harm. Yep, we have solid proof that you're involved. Well, I mean, Oldback told... she's, is kind of biased, isn't she? Oh dear. Well, maybe he's like Salmonella and he was into it. Well, considering what he did the other day, probably not. And then all I had to do afterwards was kill him. Made my job easier. Oh, what do you know? The person who is the bad guy. Oh dear, Yeah, she wants the photograph back. Hey guys, where'd you come from? I really don't know where you could have been hiding. Not particularly, no, but, oh god, they actually bothered drawing them out, which means, oh no, this could actually be a bad ending. Because you'll be dead. That's what I'm trying to get at. Because it's evidence that ties them together, Phoenix? You'll probably go to hell for being morons who waste my time. I regret everything! Wow, really? Did Gumshoe just single-handedly drive off 4 thugs? That's impressive. Wow, Gumshoe, I didn't think you'd save the day in any capacity, but you really came through. I mean, in fairness, he also got us that steak plate and the bottle of sleeping pills. But this was also helpful as well. You know, preventing us from dying? It's pretty damn good, Gumshoe. Pretty damn good. You just know he's overjoyed on the inside. Yep. Well, hopefully so. Thanks to a timely intervention, we weren't killed, and hey, we actually seem to have kept that picture, so we'll have some pretty good evidence going into court tomorrow. So, next time on Phoenix Wright, we have to finish everything up. Otherwise, we meet the deadline.